The creator of Oz. Paragraph 1. In 1900, a group of children listened to an unusual tale with characters made of straw, tin, and fur. L. Frank Baum would often entertain his sons and their friends with his creations. This one, about a girl from Kansas who travels to a wonderful enchanted land, was their favorite. Paragraph 2. In the middle of the tale, a child asked, "Mr. Baum, where did the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman live?" Paragraph 3. Baum looked around the room until he noticed a filing cabinet with the letters A-N on the top drawer and O-Z on the bottom. Putting the last two letters together, he smiled. Paragraph 4. "Well," Baum said, "the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, the Cowardly Lion, and the Great Wizard all lived in the marvelous land of Oz." Growing up, paragraph 5. Lyman Frank Baum was born to a wealthy family in Chittenango, New York in 1856. He spent most of his childhood living at a beautiful country estate called Roselawn. A serious heart condition made it necessary for him to be tutored at home, and one of his favorite pastimes was reading and creating stories. At a young age, Frank, as he preferred to be called, showed a talent for writing, and when he was 15, his father bought him a printing press. Frank and his brother Harry printed a newspaper entitled The Roselawn Home Journal. Paragraph 6. By the time Frank turned 18, he knew that he wanted to become an actor. With money from his father, Frank formed a Shakespearean acting troupe, and in 1880 became the manager of a string of opera houses owned by his father. In 1881, his first play, The Maid of Aran, in which he played the lead, became an instant success. Paragraph 7. At a party in 1881, Frank met a young woman named Maud Gage. The following year, the two were married and in time had 4 sons. Frank, a devoted father, spent hours spinning tales for his children. During this time, Frank's businesses experienced many setbacks, and his poor health continued to plague him. Paragraph 8. In 1888, Frank decided to try his luck on the Western Prairie. He moved his family to the boomtown of Aberdeen, South Dakota. Paragraph 9. Once settled in Aberdeen, Frank wasted little time in setting up his new business, a variety store called Baum's Bazaar. The store became a favorite stop for the children of the community. Some would buy candy or soda, but most of them came to hear the exciting stories Frank would tell. When a terrible drought hit the area in 1890, Frank was forced to close the store, and the Baum family moved to Chicago, Illinois. An American Fairy Tale. Paragraph 10. In 1897, Frank had begun writing it for children. His first book was Mother Goose in Prose. Then came Father Goose, his book, which became the best-selling children's book of 1899. About this time, Frank began creating stories for his children and their friends about Dorothy's adventures in the magical land of Oz. Paragraph 11. Later, he explained how he suddenly became inspired by this special tale. "I was sitting in the hall, telling the kids a story, and suddenly this tale moved right in and took possession. I shooed the children away and grabbed a piece of paper that was lying there on the rack and began to write. It really seemed to write itself. Then I couldn't find any regular paper, so I took anything at all, even a bunch of old envelopes." Paragraph 12. The creator of Oz didn't have to wait long to see the success of his American fairy tale. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was published in 1900 and became the best-selling children's book of the year. Bookstores demanded more copies, and Frank received thousands of letters from children begging him to write more about Oz. Encouraged by the success of the book, Frank went on to write more than a dozen other books about Oz. After Frank's death in 1919, other authors continued the series, completing an additional 26 books. Paragraph 13. Baum's life seemed to fit the theme that he'd made so famous in his first Oz story. People hold within themselves the things that they are searching for. L. Frank Baum had struggled through his adult years searching for the right career, when all along, just like Dorothy and her friends, he held within himself the greatest gift, the gift of storytelling.